You know, it's that time of year when people are starting to make their summer vacation plans, but U.S. vacationers aren't just heading for grandma's or the beach anymore. More and more people are now going on what's being dubbed genealogy vacations. We take a look at this new travel trend in part 2 of our series, Tracing Your Roots, and Ron joins us with so much more.
That's right. Genealogy vacations are trips people take back to the lands of their ancestors. Yesterday I told you about my journey to my ancestral land of Ghana in West Africa, excuse me. Today we take a look at some other people taking vacations to allow them to explore their heritage, thanks to new travel agencies specializing in these kinds of trips. And of course, the internet, it's easier and cheaper than you might think. Last summer, Jeffrey Chen and Matthew Harrison traveled to China, not just to visit a foreign country. They went to discover who they are.
Well, I was sort of trying to find my Asian American identity. You sort of really lose your Chinese sense when you're also American. So there's the dual identities, and I really wanted to get into the Chinese side of it.
I was always like Matt, the Chinese guy, which I never knew like what that meant or what that was about. It was just sort of like a label.
Both had recently lost their grandfathers, immigrants from China, to whom they'd been especially close.
I was never able to communicate with him. He only spoke a little bit of English. I wanted to sort of like unlock, you know, what that mystery was, to find out more about him and his experiences.
It's what more and more Americans are doing, traveling to their ancestral homelands, opting for what some are calling genealogy trips.
We're so mixed in our nationalities here in America. It's important to connect and to understand your culture, understand why you have certain customs and traits in your family, and often those are from your ethnic roots.
Been here a long time California.
For 16 years, Albert Cheng has run a program in San Francisco called In Search of Roots. Young Chinese Americans like Jeffrey and Matthew, who Cheng calls his interns, study their family histories for months. Then they go to China to visit their ancestral villages.
A lot of our interns who come to us feel very lost. They know they are Chinese to a certain extent, but they don't know what that means. And I think this program gives them that window to look at themselves and how they come, and I think it makes them whole.
Cheng's group flew to China in July, traveling by bus to each intern's family village. Jeffrey's grandfather's village was Anbu in Guangdong province.
I go over to the bridge and I start bringing out my photos, and I show it to this elderly lady, and she's like, "Oh, I know him. He was here."
He paid his respects to his grandfather in the traditional Chinese way, by burning incense and paper money.
I was crying like crazy because I missed him so much. I felt a whole warmth around me, as if he was watching over me.
For Matthew Harrison, it was also intensely emotional, seeing his grandfather's house still standing, still as it had been left nearly a century ago. Talking to villagers, he learned of the existence of relatives he never knew he had, some of them in California, near his own home.
I think I finally like found that connection, like I was looking forward to, like what it means to be Chinese.
Whether your roots are in Asia, Europe, Africa, or some other part of the world, there is a growing number of resources to help you plan your own genealogical trip. Organizations such as these that can help you find your ancestral country. And these are just a few of the companies that specialize in genealogical travel. If you do go, be prepared for what could be an emotionally powerful experience. And if you're planning to embark on your own genealogical trip, here are a few tips. Before you go, talk to relatives who live there or used to live there. Learn as much as you can about the country, its history, and its customs. And if you don't speak the language, at least try to learn a few phrases. And, as Jeffrey Chen did, bring photos, because you never know if someone might remember one of your ancestors.
From Asia to Africa, what a powerful series. Thanks, Ron. And we'll have more tips on how to take a genealogy vacation on our website at gmaweekend.abcnews.com. We'll be back.